If you are not afraid, if you're not very afraid, if you're not careful, if you're not very careful, if you are not observant, if you're not very observant, if you are not serious, if you're not very serious, if you do not take God's word in your stride, you are going to get hurt. The last days are especially gnarly and cataclysmic. Men in the Bible, in the Old Testament in particular, that are godly, a lot of them had indiscretions in their persons pertaining women. You will remember the story of Judah and his daughter-in-law Tamar, that he was not prepared to give his sons to because he was of the imagination that this chick is carrying a bad omen, everybody just be out there dying when they lay with her. So one day Tamar made herself a prostitute. She acted like she was a prostitute and then slept with Judah in order to proliferate a lineage because she had been widowed. However, what I'm trying to put forward is that Judah was of the imagination that Tamar was a prostitute. Now, I don't believe that the brothers of Joseph became truly godly until much later on. In the beginning of their lives, they were just carnal, they were just frankly nonsense. But Old Testament law is such that the patriarch would be the one to atone for the sins of their children by slaughtering an animal per year. So I don't know what would have happened if Judah had died before doing a better thing, but what we know and what we see in the Old Testament is that men then, even those that were of God, they took very lightly fornication. They took sleeping with prostitutes very lightly. Judah slept with what he thought was a prostitute, evidencing that he was into doing stuff like that. He did not have a holy fear when he did that. When he slept with Tamar, nothing in him felt like, I'm sinning against God by laying with a strange woman that's not my wife. He was just satiating his body for the night. Men have been like that for a minute, alright? We all know what happened. David and Bathsheba, when he lay with Bathsheba, she was still somebody else's wife. He was committing adultery, and he allowed himself to sin like that without fear of consequences. I can't even tell you what in the world was going on over there. There was little fear for the consequences of, in particular, fornication in the Old Testament in men, not so much in the New. There was a lot more piety in the servants of God. You see that thing in men, it's still happening today, where they're just messing up and doing strange things, imagining that God is going to get it, God is going to understand when they are fornicating. Even as godly guys, Mamela, now it's not like the days of Judah or the days of David. Now you are sleeping with women that are mixes, they're hybrids, and they're bringing those kinds of babies forth.